While that got the blood pumping, it might just look like a big muddy mess that we've made, but this is actually the start of our next project and how we're gonna double the living space of our tiny house.
We got back from a trip to the UK a couple of days ago, and this is a big project to dive headfirst into on our return. And if you're wondering how we're gonna double the space, you're gonna give me a drum roll and a reveal?
Yeah. Give me a V. Give me an E. Give me an R.
We're not doing this.
It's going to be a veranda. E's are really hard. Does that look like an E?
Kind of. It looks weird as.
Bit more, but just fractionally. Bit more. A bit more. Whoa. No, let it calm down. That's good.
Okay.
Yeah. Maths.
I can't think of how to calculate this now. So that was 365. We're just trying to calculate. The land comes away, slopes away from the tiny house. So for this veranda, we're gonna have to build it up here. But then of course, we still need a bit of a slope on it, a bit of a fall. So like any water rushes off that way, it doesn't go back towards the house. Okay, 32. We're trying to plot out the corners of the veranda and we're measuring to see if it's square. Unsurprisingly, it's not, but we're struggling to figure out how to get it square. There's so many uneven walls and yeah, it's a bit tricky.
As I look at it, down the line of the building, I think this one should come across maybe by, I don't know, this much.
What's that? In measurements, about 70 mil.
Yeah. About that much.
All right.
Or maybe it's only 60 actually.
This veranda is going to be such a big improvement for the tiny house. It's going to give us an area, it's basically the same footprint as indoors, that we can use in the winter because it's going to be covered so we can sit out here when it's raining. It's also going to give us a shaded area in the summer. But yeah, the plan is to have a space out here with a sofa that we can sit out on, a kind of little table with some chairs so we can eat out here for breakfast or dinner. Alfresco. But yeah, it's going to be a pretty robust structure because it's going to be a metal framework with a tiled roof, the same tiles that we have on the tiny house to tie it all in. We're then going to have a raised kind of floor base, if you want to call it, that's going to be surrounded in stone to again tie it in with the house and make it all feel at one. And then the top of it is going to be more modern porcelain ceramic tiles. So yeah, going to be lovely, smooth, flat and easy to clean.
Ricky's just going around and marking out where we need to dig down for our footers to be. We're going to have 4 of them, which is going to be what's holding up the roof. Quite an important job. We do need to raise up the ground in front of the tiny house because I think Ricky mentioned it basically slopes away from the house. So at that front edge, I think, was it about 35 centimetres in the end?
Yeah, a bit under.
a bit under. About a foot it needs to come up by. That's going to be a project we do at a bit of a later date though, because our main priority right now is just to get this structure up and get us protected.
Yeah, we had the realisation it's not going to be long really until the fire ban comes in, and because we're making this out of metal, there's obviously going to be lots of sparks and angle grinding we need to do. There is going to be some welding that we hopefully want to do, so we can't do any of that once the fire ban kicks in. So we're trying to pull our finger out and get this done now. So we looked at it as like 2 stages. We'll get the actual roof structure, the footings, the roof on, and then we can do kind of the stone surround and the tiled floor at a later date.
Hands up who wants to see Ricky do his best flash dance when it comes to the welding job. Good morning. I'm just waiting for Ricky to get back from the merchant. He needed to go and get some rebar because we need to reinforce the footers. So hopefully he'll be back any minute with that. But we were chatting last night and it occurred to us that in our excitement and in our haste to get digging yesterday, we never actually filled you in on some of the other work that had happened since we've been back from the UK. Unfortunately, I seem guaranteed to get a cold anytime I've been on an aeroplane, and this time was no different. So since I got back from the UK, I have been a bit laid up and a bit bunged up. So Ricky has been left to his own devices, and he's managed to actually get through a fair bit of work on his own. So he got back on his scaffold and carried on with the plasterboard ceiling. He's added another coat of plaster and also sanded it so it's nice and smooth. We're ready, if I remember correctly, we're ready for the very final coat on the mud to be done. So we're nearly there, and somehow I've managed to avoid doing any of it. He also got the other 6 downlights fitted in our ceiling, and now it is so bright in there. Even though the walls are really dark, it is just absolutely luminous. Right on cue. Do you think we let him in? Come on, doggies. Go on then. Success?
Success. Yeah, it's all good. They've got a big machine there that I've never used before to chop the rebar.
All right.
You can literally do one of them here. It's just like a big cutter that you feed it in, then it's got a massive pole on. You just sort of get leverage on and pull it down. But
Nice.
got Oompa hands now.
Why is it so orange?
Because it's obviously the rebar, isn't it?
Oh, it's rusty.
Yeah.
Okay.
For my next trick.
How long? Ricky's just digging out the final hole. This one was a bit of a pain to do because it's basically just solid rock.
Yeah, all rock. I mean, we dug out part of it last night, but had to get the jackhammer back out, shake myself.
Silly. It's been a bit backbreaking to get through it all, but it does mean that it's going to make a really solid foundation for the footer. We put these little escape ramps in the holes at the end of last night just to make sure anybody who might fall in there had got a way out. But they are all ready to roll, these three, so it's just the final one that Ricky's working on now. One thing we hadn't quite anticipated was how high the water table is at the minute. I read yesterday that our area has actually had 4 times the normal amount of rain it would get in March, and March is normally a pretty wet month here anyway, so you can imagine the deluge that we've had. As we were digging down, we hit some water, so we're going to chuck in some gravel and stones on the bottom to firm it up, and then those first couple of mixes on the base we're going to make a bit drier. Hopefully not going to blow away in the process, because this wind is getting wild.
So this week we've partnered once again with Reolink, and if you've been watching our channel for a while, you know that we love their smart and user-friendly security cameras, and we have several of them across the farm. The peace of mind that, these gave us whilst we were back in the UK was quite honestly priceless, because we could check in at any time, make sure everything was good here, and then we could go on with the rest of our day and enjoy our trip worry-free. And we love that they can be powered by their own little solar panel. After all the wet weather we've had lately, both our panels and camera could actually do with a little bit of a spring clean, so I'm going to give them a wipe down just to keep them in tip-top shape. We've got all of our cameras set up on the Home Hub, which encrypts and safely stores all of your footage in one place. There's no ongoing subscription required, and if you've got a smart home system like Alexa or Google Assistant, then you can link it to that too. We recently added the video doorbell to our setup, and when it's triggered, the Home Hub makes an alert sound, plus you get a notification sent to your phone, so whether you're at home or whether you're out and about, you'll be able to see who's at your door. You can speak to the other person who's at the doorbell in real time via the app, but if you're busy or you just don't want to speak, it's really easy to set an auto reply. So if you're wanting to improve your home security setup, click our link in the description and use our code LBLSPRING to unlock Reolink's huge spring sales and build your own personalized security system today. Don't know if you can see this because they're very thin, but we've just run out string line here from the step. This is going out completely level. We've then run another one across the front line, which is level, and that's going to be the front line from the building. That's running completely parallel to the front of the house, so that's going to tell us where we need to line up our piers when we put them on top of the footers. That front string line is also going to give us a good point to reference from when we're pouring the concrete footers. We can measure from that level line down to where the concrete level is, and we can make sure that they're all poured at the same point and the same height. We were planning on pouring these footers this afternoon. However, this crazy wind has completely changed the weather forecast, and it's now saying we're going to have heavy rain at some point this afternoon and then basically all through the night. So it seems unwise to do that today, so we're going to put it off until tomorrow morning. But we've still got a lot of prep work to do, so I need to cut all the rebar to go in both the footers and the piers, and we're definitely going to have to get these holes covered because we do not want to come out in the morning to holes full of water.
So seeing as we've gained a little bit of time this afternoon, I'm going to make the most of this dry weather and strim around the tiny house, because the weeds across all of the land have gone absolutely wild. With the combination of all the rain and sun we've had, they've just shot up. And we are almost at tick season, so we need to make sure that the dogs aren't going to get covered in them. We've already had a few that we needed to pick off. Plus, because of how overgrown it is at the minute, it's not a clear work site down there. So get it trimmed and then we'll be able to move around easily tomorrow. Can you come and model for me?
Model? Model what?
Weeds.
Weeds?
No, not that kind.
Oh, you're on about the height of them?
Yeah. Right, carry on walking towards me. Right, there will do.
Good.
So, yeah, Ricky is currently stood in our path. And you can, well, you can see it's up to his thigh. Ricky, that's not helpful. They're long, that's all you need to know. Long weeds. Okay, back to work.
God, this wind is insane.
It's a bit blustery, isn't it?
Be careful with that. I don't want that to fall over.
What, me?
No.
What are you indicating? All right. Good to know where your concern lies.
It's just started raining, so that was well timed. I've just finished making the rebar grids. They're gonna sit in the bottom of the footer. Like, oh, I don't know if I can zoom out far enough. Like this. That'll sit in the bottom, and that's going to give strength to the footer at the weakest point in the concrete, so that will be reinforced metal going through it. And now I need to take 8 of these longer pieces, so they're going to be the reinforcement for our pillars. They're going to be vertical, reinforcing that concrete, and I need to bend a tiny bit on the end to basically make an anchor that's going to hold it into the footer concrete and join them together. And with this being such a tiny little piece to bend, I think this is going to be a bit tricky, so yeah, I might not be able to do this by myself. Stand on there. Down. Had to call in the reinforcements. For the reinforcement.
I've taken a break from getting sprayed by slug juice as I'm strumming through it. It's absolutely gross.
Right, so if you stand there. Are you ready?
Yep.
Think heavy. That's it. Both feet on. Oh.
No, I'm balancing.
Oh. I need to go further.
Yeah, just... I've got my body there.
There we go. There we go. Bend. So that'll fit nicely. Right, another 7 to do. Right, let's go. Let's get these done. dry hole.
Two dry holes. It didn't take long for us to get a resident in this hole.
Come on, Mr. Toady. There you go.
Oh.
Look at this guy.
Oh.
That's such nice eyes. Right, go and put him somewhere else.
Good deed done for the day. It's been raining all the way through the night and this morning, but it seems to have stopped now and the sun's coming out. So we're going to crack on and get on with this pour.
Hoping that we're actually going to have enough materials for this. This is all left over from the French drain, so we've kind of set up shop right next to that. You can see it's not the closest to the house, but we've just got a ton of materials left over from the various jobs. So our sand is in a pile over there. We've got more gravel over there.
You know when you design a kitchen, you've got that magic triangle to make it the most efficient it can be. Yeah. This is the opposite of it, but it wasn't through choice.
Yeah, we just didn't want to buy in any more material for this because we've just got so many things sitting around. It seems a bit wasteful and we want to free up some space as well. So touch wood, we'll have enough to get it done.
Arriba!
Oh.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
It's a bit irritating on this first hole because we've got so many string lines going around it that I can't pour it straight from the wheelbarrow, so I'm having to shovel it. But as soon as we've got the first pier in to marry up with all of these strings, where is it? There. Then this one here can go and I can just pour the rest in. It should speed it up. Starting to rain, which is not ideal for concrete.
No, the cement's covered, so it's not going to set, but I think it's stopped, but there's a lot of black clouds around. We will not be stopped.
So this is the most important part for us to get right now because the footer's poured. These are going to be what make up our piers. So right now we've set up our string lines to try and get as square as we can for the veranda off the side of the building, parallel to the front. Obviously this sort of corner here is going to be what reflects that. So we need to try and get this perfectly with our string lines. This first one, if we get this set out right, then hopefully the rest will fall into place.
I'm sure it'll be smooth sailing.
Yeah, I'm not so sure.
It's a stance and a half, that is.
15. Perfect. Yeah, we're all good.
Nice.
Right, get it level. Almost forgot about this part.
I know.
Right. Oi. job on.
So each of these kind of pillar bases are going to be 3 of these blocks high and obviously filled with concrete, hence why the rebar's taller. We're still going to have to trim it down a bit, I think, though. But yeah, we're just doing this first stage now to kind of bed this in a bit better into the footer. It shows us where we want to put our rebar to kind of get that sunk right in the right place, and then we'll come back another day and do this, because I think if we have 3 high filled with concrete on fresh concrete footer, it's probably going to sink a bit.
Oh, we're getting near. Have you got some in that end as well, the last one? Some of the concrete?
Full.
Oh, nice. I think we might get away with it. I think we might just about have enough gravel. I was getting worried for a minute.
You'd never guess it because the sun is shining, but not long ago we had a weather warning saying that we're going to have a lot of rain and really high winds and stormy weather. So we've sort of been pacing it along, and I figured if we can get the footers in and get that filled and get them covered before rain comes, we could always attach the pier at a later date.
Yeah.
But it looks like we're going to be good. So get this down whilst it's in, get the rebar in whilst it's still wet, and then a couple more mixes, get the last one on.
Oh, it's music to my ears.
Yeah. La la la.
What's with the hands?
To your ears.
Are you sloping it away from the pier a bit?
I'm trying to, but it's easier said than done. I'll just get it to a point and then that'll be that.
It's starting to rain.
No.
Smooth, like your life depends on it.
Yeah, we need to get them covered.
We made it. We're done. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pillars, posts, footers. I don't know anymore. But we definitely need to get them covered pronto because it's starting to really rain.
Yeah, I think that weather warning is potentially accurate. So yeah, this is already getting soaked. I just need to separate these.
Yeah.
I need to get some like boards and plastic over it.
Yeah. Got the first one done.
I'm hoping it can survive all this rain that's going to come. It's raining so much. We need to get this covered, though. It's literally got puddles on it. Right, move these string lines.